The town of Entiat is situated along the Columbia River on Highway 97A, about midway between Wenatchee and Chelan. The original township was relocated to higher ground when Rocky Reach Dam was built in the mid-60s. The small, mostly rural community is a gateway to the popular Entiat River Valley, which boasts some of the best camping and river recreation opportunities in Chelan County. Entiat is now undergoing a major transformation as the town seeks to capture more tourist trade. Today, we meet with Mayor John Alt, who's being challenged in his bid for election by Michael Buckingham. John Alt joins us in studio right now. His challenger in the upcoming election is Michael Buckingham, who declined our offer to appear on the program today. John joins us here, and well, first of all, John, let's get a little background on yourself. John Alt, who's running for election for the first time after being appointed to the position to replace Keith Vredenberg as mayor of the city of Entiat. So give us a little background, John, on yourself.
Well, thanks, Steve. I really appreciate the opportunity. Your offer to bring the information to help the citizens be informed voters is really important to me. Just a little background for the folks that have not met me. I've been behind the scenes for a year and a half since I was appointed, like you mentioned, to the mayor position when the previous mayor had to leave for major heart surgery. Mm-hmm. So I've lived in Entiat for 17 years, and I've worked earlier in my life as a automotive and aircraft mechanic, and then also as and then went through that scenario, and then spent coming up on 33 years as a commercial pilot. So, and actually I commuted out of Entiat to LA for several years to try to finish my career. So after traveling most of my life, including traveling while my father was in the military, getting to Entiat was my first opportunity to find someplace that really felt like home.
Well, now you're in public service, serving as the mayor of what's considered, I guess, the smallest community in among the 5 cities in Chelan County. But you are also leading a city that's in a state of transition right now. Your town right now appears to be on the verge of becoming a major player in the outdoor recreation tourism industry. I'd like for you to explain to our viewers right now what's happening along the Entiat waterfront and how you plan to carry those plans forward.
Well, that's an excellent question, Steve. You know, a few years ago when I was on the Planning Commission, and then when I was serving on council before I was appointed to the mayor, I saw the growth coming, I guess, after the 07-08 downturn. We'd had a lot of subdivisions and things that were stranded up there. Those have now been mostly completed because there's a lot of new interest. The waterfront piece has been envisioned for over 20 years by our citizens, and 3 previous mayors had worked through trying to support that process and interface with the public. For 7 years, we've been working on a waterfront permit, and anybody that's worked on the waterfront knows how challenging that is. That was stalled probably indefinitely when I first came on board last year. Our team worked aggressively with all the agencies, and this summer that's just ending, we now have the permit to move that along.
And that's going to include the development of a new marina and also potentially the development of all new commercial and retail and lodging and other types of amenities as well.
It could. It's kind of a blank slate at this point. We do have a marina permit in place, the dredging permit if we wanted to do that, along with fueling for future utilization. We have a number of people coming into town that we're noticing really want to be able to share the resources that we have. That's a concern. Many people that are working a lot, more hours than ever, want to be able to do some recreation. We're partnering also with the Forest Service in their Sustainable Recreation Project, which is something that's really important to me for our citizens and possibly visitors as well.
Well, you know, John, I think for a lot of people, especially the motoring public who are traveling between Wenatchee and Chelan, see Entiat as kind of a way station on the way. And I'm sure that the city would like to capture more of that sales tax revenue that's generated by that traveling public as making Entiat possibly a destination instead of just a way station.
Well, we really would like that. We've had a few shortfalls in our budget recently, and so a little extra revenue from folks that came to join us for a little bit of tourism would be great. We'd like to see that. And so those are other opportunities coming. The waterfront piece, it'd be an opportunity possibly for like a new core, if you will, for the city, since it hasn't really been able to restructure itself and have a city core since it was flooded by the dam. So, maybe a little deli, a little bakery, something like that. So maybe some little incubator businesses of some type. I think that would be really great. The community's been asking for that, and some services for a while.
How about lodging?
There is an idea that there would be maybe a small hotel, which would be great because we have a number of people that would like an opportunity to snowmobile, snowshoe, cross-country ski, hunting. We've got a lot of folks that come to enjoy those outdoor resources.
I know there's increasing popularity with the new park development and campground.
There is. That's actually very full. It's been very busy. That we go to reserveamerica.com to book that now. It's online for everybody's convenience.
Wonderful. Let's talk about the city's financial situation right now. How would you describe the financial health of Entiat right now, especially as it relates to budgeting for city services?
The financial health of the city now is good. Our team delivered the first real balanced budget for 2019 since 2013. There hadn't really been a good solid balanced budget. When I came in earlier last year, the general fund hadn't been balanced for over 3 years. So we had a lot of work to do to kind of be ready for prime time, if you will. We put a tremendous new team of professionals in place, realized that we had a lot of hard work to get our ordinances up to speed and several things like that. So, and then we're going to be able to deliver a balanced budget for 2020 as well. Took some pretty deep cuts temporarily. We're just kind of getting everything, we got our public records all up to speed and several items that just needed some refreshing.
So what's it look like going forward, though? Obviously a challenge.
It's a challenge. The team of folks we have right now, including our new finance director, who was a retired municipal finance director for 30 years, and we were able to woo her part-time, so she's in a couple days a week mentoring our new two new deputy clerk treasurers, and we have a clerk treasurer that I promoted recently who's doing an amazing job. And then we also have a new community development director as well. So it's been an amazing transition.
I guess one of the big challenges, and it's not isolated certainly to Entiat, but it's a regional issue, and that's affordable housing. Let's talk about that issue as it relates to the city of Entiat.
There was an earlier affordable housing conversation when I first came on board. It had been going on for a couple of years from the previous administration. There had been a contract signed to sell some public property. I came in the middle of that. The public was reconnected with during that final process when I came on board, because I realized that the public hadn't had much time to speak on that. They had convinced council not to sell the public property for that, but our understanding is they're looking at a private property venture to do something there. Affordable housing, I mean, everybody to start with, they need housing. I'd like to see somebody have a hand up so that we can get them into a productive situation and be able to provide for their families.
I know that the city and the school district are a strong link there.
There is.
And I know that the affordable housing issue, I guess, kind of transcends just the city, but the school district as well.
The forecasting piece of that's difficult. Of course, when new housing of any kind comes in, there's no way to forecast what segment of students would be available to the school. The school has space for some types and some grades. Some of the later grades are more available, but that's because a lot of people are using some of these new running start type of programs. So I've been actually working and having some conversations with the superintendent about seeing what we could do to offer some of those types of courses at the school and keep the money in Entiat.
As I understand, the teacher-student ratio, though, is such that the school district would like to bring in some more teachers, but...
Well, there's some, I think, my understanding is, and that those demographics keep changing, but that there's, they have good staffing in some grades and more challenges than others, and that changes from year to year.
Okay. So if you were to identify one issue that you see as important going forward, what would that single issue be?
Wow. There's a number of issues going forward. I guess the single most issue now, of course, is we're in the middle of a 3-year audit with the state auditor's office. The city had not filed financial disclosures since 2015. They're required to file those annually. So those are all being brought forward and up to date. And there's a 3-year audit that was mandated not only by the state auditor's office, but also by the city council. And we're in the middle of that right now. That should be completed in the next few months. And then we have a federal and a state audit coming up next year. So we'll get through those. 19 is a good year to clean everything up. 2020 is our planning year.
Okay. Again, John Alt joins us here on NCWLIFE as a candidate running for election to the mayor's office of the city of Entiat. And again, we invited Michael Buckingham, John's opponent, to join us today, but he declined that offer. Thanks for joining us, John. Good luck in the upcoming election.
Once again, Steve, thanks for reaching out.